Yeah. So a notary, the actual terminology is, definition is a notary is an impartial witness, which really means, let's say that you're buying or selling a house. It doesn't matter which one you're doing. Mm-hmm. You're going to need a notary to sign off on those paperwork. And that's just saying that Armand is who he says he is. He's not trying to, this is true certified information that we're bringing forth, right? Mm-hmm. So that's really what a notary does. They really sign off on paperwork showing that this person is exactly who they say they are, and this document is as true as it's going to get. So that's what a notary is.
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy back again with another episode of Big Boss Talk, the podcast. Listen, we got another amazing guest. This guest came by recommendation. The recommendation was actually Trevor. His episode just dropped last week, so if you haven't watched, please go listen and watch Trevor's episode. He had a lot of great gems, and obviously, people like that hang with great people as well, so I'm glad he was able to recommend another great guest. And I know we're going to get into some good stuff just about what she does on a day-to-day basis and kind of give you guys the information that you need, so if you ever want to step in this lane, you have a little bit of foundation to go off of. And so let me introduce my guest, right? So I got Jasmine B. Campbell, age 27, career job, she's a paralegal and mobile notary, loan signing agent. College degree, she has her BA in communication and minor in theater from the College of Charleston. Paralegal certification from the University of South Carolina. And she's been doing this for 5 years this month. So shout out to you, reaching 5 years, half a decade. Jasmine, say what's up to the podcast.
Listen, hello everyone. I am so grateful to be here. I'm so grateful of my friend, that's my best friend Trevor, for even welcoming me on this podcast. I mean, it's only right, because I don't know if you knew, but they call me the boss too.
Ooh,
they call me JC the boss.
They call you the boss? Okay.
So I feel like it's only fitting that two bosses come together and do boss-like things, Exactly. So I'm so happy and blessed to be here.
Awesome. Man, listen, it's crazy because I always try to do a little bit of research, and the research is just going through people's Instagram, trying to figure out, some of the things they like to do. And I saw Trevor was like, boss is going to always keep moving. It was something like that. So it was like, I see it now, and I love it. I'm glad we got, two bosses on here. And like you said, we're doing some boss things and just trying to share the wealth and knowledge of what we've learned along, our journey. So it wouldn't be Big Boss Talk if we didn't do our 2 truths and a lie. So Jazz, I hope you got 3 good statements. Let's hear them.
I do. All right, great. So number 1 is I studied abroad in Japan. Number 2 is my hometown has 1 street light. And number 3 is I'm currently in swim class.
Oh my God. What? Okay, hold on. One was you studied abroad in Japan?
Yep.
Okay, number 2 is your hometown that has 1 street light?
Yep.
That's impossible. 3 is you are taking swim lessons. You're in swim class right now, swim lessons?
Yep.
Okay, cool. They always say black people can't swim, so you might be learning how to swim right now. I don't know.
I don't know. You tell me.
I don't know. So, myself, I'm a junior lifeguard, so I'm just joking. That was at like that happened at like 10 years old, so my certification is expired.
Oh wow.
Okay, so then we got your hometown, 1 street light. That's crazy. What? I mean, I've been through some small towns, but come on, 1 street light. And then you studied abroad in Japan. I can believe that. Studying abroad is something amazing. Not a lot of people get to do it. I don't think you would lie about that. That's a weird lie to really think about. So I think that's true. And then we talk about it's between the street light and swim class. I think the street light is a lie because I've never seen a city with 1 street light. But swim lessons is the lie.
Okay, is that your final answer?
All right, no, I'm gonna change. I'm gonna say this.
Oh, now you want to change? Okay, we about to see.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the swim lessons is the lie. It's the lie.
Okay. All right. Final answer. This is
Final,
it. You like it?
I
The
need
buzzer has been hit. You be done.
final answer.
All right, cool. The lie was I studied abroad in Japan.
Oh my God.
So, funny story. I did study abroad, but it was not in Japan.
I knew it.
You would never guess. You still would never guess where I studied abroad. I studied abroad in Czech Republic, Slovakia, and Hungary.
What?
Yeah.
Man, how was that?
That was amazing. I was there for about a month and a half. That was beautiful. That was actually my first time getting on a flight, on an actual plane.
Yeah.
And that was about, I think, 4 or 5 years ago now. So that was amazing. I loved every second of that. But yeah, that was the lie. I did not study abroad in Japan. My hometown does indeed
Where
have
you stay?
one.
Where you from?
I'm from St. Stephen, South Carolina. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you.
For the viewers out there, it's about 45 minutes south from Charleston. Well, east from Charleston, I guess. Yes. Yeah, so, well, north. I guess. Who knows, child? It's 45 minutes away from Charleston.
I'm geographically challenged, so you talking to the wrong person. I don't know, but
and I am currently in swim classes. Yes.
How was that going? How was swim class?
It's going great. I'm taking it at the Y. Actually, I suggest everybody to, if you do not know how to swim, like you said, Black people don't know how to swim. They did not teach us how to swim.
Right.
So if you ever need to get lessons, I highly recommend going to the YMCA in your area. The one in my area is amazing. It's pretty much one-on-one. There's no more than 10 people in the class. It could be as little as 1 to 10. I love it. I'm actually learning how to kick my legs and start to use my arms a little bit. So it's going really well.
That's good. That's good. I'm going to have to send the wife up to the YMCA because I tried to teach her. It was not a good experience.
It never works that way.
She said I'm a bad teacher, so I'm going to just leave it at that. And
please.
And so we're going to have to send her to the Y. We're going to have to get her some professional help. So I'm glad you talked about the YMCA because now I'm going to have to go sign her up and we're going to be like, look, let's go learn how to swim. Cool. That's what's up. I can't believe you got me with that lie. I was totally off the grid. Okay.
And I mean, you was like,
But I'm like, who would lie about that?
Studying abroad would be a weird lie. Yeah, no. Yeah. I did study abroad, but not in Japan.
Okay. No worries.
All right.
All right, well, I got 3 small questions, right? 3 small questions that I just, felt like the viewers would want to know or just kind of just pique your interest on how you got started. So I saw that you low key a gym rat, right? I don't know if that's still going on, right? We'll talk about it, right? But I did
talk about it. We'll talk.
But I did see that you were previously or currently, whatever the case may be, you were actively in the gym for a very long time. What started your fitness journey? What kind of got you into the gym? And, if you stop, when we getting back on it?
Yeah. So originally I got started with the gym with my mom and my sister.
Okay.
Just because honestly I was tired of looking at myself in the mirror and being like, oh my gosh, I want to fix this, or oh, I really wish I can get a flat belly, or whatever the case may be. I got tired of saying that.
Right.
So I got in the gym. Of course that didn't last long. You know how everybody at the beginning of the year is like, oh my gosh, I'm going to go to the gym this year. Yeah. It lasted for a couple of months. Did not work out. So I went back again. I tried it again.
Okay.
That time I was going to the gym at 6:30 every morning. I just couldn't. I couldn't keep that up either. So I stopped. Then I joined again this past January. I started a program called E2M, which is Elevate to Motivate, I believe is what it's called.
Yeah.
And that's a great program. I do not knock it. I love it. Again, I was not consistent. You got to get that discipline. It's always about that discipline.
Yeah.
It's that mental mindset that you got to pass.
Yeah.
So I started it and fell off. But as of recently, literally last week, I just purchased for the umpteenth time another meal plan, and I'm actually starting on Monday.
That's
so
awesome.
Today is currently, what's today's date? August 5th. If I'm not still in the gym by October 5th, y'all call me on my bluff because
I'm gonna call you. We're gonna call you. We're gonna hold you accountable.
Please. So I'm back in it, and
that's dope. Yeah. I mean, listen, as long as you not stop. You didn't stop trying. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
I can understand like quitting and then never going back, but you quit and like I gotta get back right. Something that's pulling you to get back into the gym again. I don't know if it's just mentally you were off or just maybe you just felt bad and you just like I gotta get back. I think when I was actually talking to Trevor, I was like, man, when's the last time you ever really been disciplined? You know what I mean? And I actually shout out to my cousin Tay. He was telling me he does ISI in Rock Hill. It's like some little gym he goes to, and he's been doing it and lost a lot of weight, got skinny. I was like, bro, what you doing? He was like, man, I just go to the gym and I'm going every day, and then I double up on Wednesday. So I'm like, I need to find something like that. There's no ISI in Texas, but he sent me this place called Rockbox. So I actually been doing Rockbox for 3 months. I've been going every single day, Monday through Friday. We haven't missed a day unless it was for vacation.
All right. And what did you do on said vacation? Did you stick to your plan?
Oh no. What? No, we have tequila every day, food.
Tequila is actually the healthiest alcohol.
So it is. You can actually drink that. You can drink it on keto. Like it's one of the one alcohols you can drink. So we did a lot of tequila, a lot of pina coladas, food. I had to enjoy myself. Like staying in the gym. We had to splurge.
You got to reward yourself because you win. You win.
Exactly. So I'm trying to motivate. Not motivate, but just try to show people like discipline, and we already know it's discipline. Like it's just going every day, being consistent. But it's just like when we gonna really do it. You know what I mean? So
when do you get tired of saying I want to do something and just do it?
Yeah, that's what's up. Okay, next question: are we still trading?
I am currently trading, but I am trading by myself. I am no longer associated with the company. And that's just my own personal reasons. That company was a great company, a beautiful company that really helped me learn the skills of trading. But as of right now, I am independently trading myself. And honestly, I can only trade when I have time because these last few months it's been rough. It's been rough. So when I actively put my mind to trade, then it's all up. But
listen, I asked that question because it is a safe space here. I actually traded myself. The company that you were talking about, I am obviously. That's kind of like if I would give anybody like a starter program, like to really want to learn, like that would be the go-to. Absolutely. Obviously, a lot of people, go through it, stick with it, or some people drop off due to personal reasons. Like I'm never the one to say. You know what I mean? Like it's personal, right? I can't tell anybody what to do and how to do it, but I did learn how to do it on my own, stepped away and just, for a long time, during the pandemic, that's kind of when it all kind of just jumped off, right? Yeah. I was doing very well. Still doing good. And it's just the timepiece, right? You talk about just having the time to really sit down and calculate your steps and really analyze the charts. It does take some time. But I wanted to ask and see if you were still trading because I always, when people trade, I'm not the person that's on Twitter like, you see the tweets like,
definitely.
I don't see them Forex people talking no more. Like, what happened?
They quiet. They not making no money. Oh, I've seen it all. I've heard it all. I've been told it all. Yeah.
And I can't even get mad at them because a lot of times they speak from a place of just maybe not knowing, you know what I mean? Like not knowing or not understanding. So,
or getting the wrong mentorship because a lot of people from that organization just simply did not have the guidance.
That too.
Like if you really didn't have the guidance to actually be successful in that, then you were a lost cause from the jump.
So. Exactly. And you can have leave with that bad taste and never want to, come back again. So I understand, but I had to ask that question. What's something that you live by? Like, what's a mantra that you live by? Something that, even through rough times, rough patches, you like, nah, this is my motto. This is the game plan.
Yeah. The one thing I do love to say is choose happiness. And shout out to my girl, Peyton. She's in med school, so shout out to my girl. You really happiness is a choice, and a lot of times we're so down on ourselves. Things happen in our lives. We get too busy. We get overwhelmed. I know me, I'm one person that's easily overwhelmed when it comes to a lot of things being on my plate. But at the end of the day, I have to choose happiness. If I can't have nothing else in this life, I'm going to be happy. I'm going to do the things that's making me happy. I'm going to engage with the people that's making me happy. I'm going to be in the activity life to make me happy. Yeah. So if I can take anything to the grave, it's going to be that I lived this life and I lived it happily, so choose happiness.
That's what's up. What got you to that point though? Like, as far as like choosing, like it's one thing to say it, but then it's another thing to live it. Like, how do you, in your day-to-day, choose to be happy? Like, is it a conscious decision of like, I know this may not bring me joy, so I'm gonna stay away from this? Like, you choose to mess with certain people, like, what is it that kind of helps you stay in that mantra of like, I'm gonna choose happiness?
And what's funny? Trading actually helped me with this, because the one thing that the organization did do outside of trading was personal development. And the thing that I actively tell myself when I do feel down, when I do feel sad, when I do feel like I'm about to get in a slump, I literally try to face every negative comment with a positive one. Okay. So anytime a negative thought goes to my mind, I immediately try to follow up with the positive. Yeah. Now, that doesn't work all the time, but for the majority of the time, it's like, bet, let me get back to it. Yeah. And then if not, then I'll just call my friends. They'll go ahead and pour into me the water that I didn't have. They'll go ahead and make sure that I do have it moving forward. But that's the one thing that trading did teach me. It taught me that you literally have to fight every negative thought with the positive one, or you're always going to go down that negative thought. Because you got to think, negative thoughts are way heavier than positive. It's definitely so much easier to just frown than to smile. You know what I'm saying? It takes so many more muscles to frown than to smile. Yeah. So you really have to actively fight that in order to be happy. So funny enough, it was trading.
I love it. There's always a duality in everything we do in life. I just talked to a guy yesterday. He was speaking on duality. And I was just like, there's always two sides to everything, good, bad, situations. There's always two sides. Like, there's in anything you look at in life, there's two sides. And it's just like, what side do you choose to look at, right? You can choose to look at both sides. And then, what's hurting you the most? You talk about choose happiness. Like, that's a side of life where you need to choose, because it's harder to choose it, but you feel a lot better on that side versus on the negative and being down. So that's what's up. And we appreciate you, Jazz. Thank you for answering those couple of questions.
Yes, of course.
And then we'll get right into it. So, starting from the beginning, I always ask this: what did you want to be growing up?
Okay, sure. Yes. So originally, of course, all of us want to go to school, be a doctor, lawyer, whatever. But I graduated school wanting to be an actress, right? Mm-hmm. I wanted to, but you really don't need a freaking degree to actually act, because you got to think of the people who act today. They don't have a degree. Right. So I changed my degree to journalism, right? I took an internship in DC after I graduated, spent the entire summer in DC, loved every second of it. I was just positive that, oh my gosh, I'm never coming back to South Carolina. I'm going to get a job up here, and toodles to y'all. I'll see y'all when I see y'all. Did not work out that way at all. So I came back to South Carolina, could not find a job in journalism. And I was thinking about every possible reason as to why I wasn't getting it. I was thinking maybe it was my hair, because I had curly, long hair at the time. Yeah. And, naturals in that industry, you really don't see those too often. Right. I was thinking maybe it's because I'm a Black girl. Maybe it's because I have an accent a little bit. Right. It was all these things that I was thinking of. And then at the time, the political climate was so bad. I was like, I don't even know if I want to put myself in that space to even be harmed, because a lot of journalists were actually getting harmed during that time frame. Yep. So I was like, scratch that. Let me just try to figure something else out. So at the time, I was working at Verizon.
You work at Verizon?
Yes, the call center. Wait a minute. What you know about it?
I still work there. I'm an account. I went from retail to account manager now. So I'm account manager for all of Houston. So we work with businesses.
Wow.
But that's crazy though that you said that.
It's the reason. Duality. It's the reason. Wow, that's actually crazy. But yeah, I was working at Verizon part-time. Yep. And my cousin from church, she was like, hey, this law firm is hiring, which I always knew him. He's famous in the community. He was like, he's hiring if you want to, just take a job. I was like, okay, sure. Let's see what it's about. I literally sat in the seat. He talked to me for a couple of minutes and he was like, yeah, so when can you get started? I was like, I guess tomorrow, sure. And then from there, everything jumped off. That was August of 2017.
Okay.
And I've been working in the law field ever since.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay, so that's a crazy story, right? So you've been all over the place. I want to kind of break it down. So we talk about the reason why, I always ask, what did you want to be? Because I think it's always important for people to understand that you probably won't ever stick with the same idea, throughout your lifetime, right? And it's okay to change. Like some people think that it's, because they're all over the place that's bad. It's not really bad. You just haven't figured out what it is that you really want to do, and it's okay to dibble and dabble into a little bit of everything. So I think it's cool that you said you wanted to be an actress at first, but then you didn't want to utilize your degree to be an actress because you knew that there's actors that don't have degrees. So like if I still wanted to act, I can still get in that, without having a degree. So the paperwork behind your name it was like, okay, if I don't have acting, then where does that paperwork come from? So, and then journalism, you like journalism. I always thought I could be on ESPN. So like I went to school for broadcast journalism, had a little minor in business, but it's just like, for me, it was the pay. I was just like, I ain't come from where I come from to go back to where I come from as far as like being able to support myself. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to get the narrow. And that was my thing. And so for you, it was kind of crazy because it was more or less, obviously you couldn't find a job and then you started second guessing yourself. Like why is it that as Black people, we second guess one of the first things that we second guess, is it our hair or is it because we're Black?
Yes.
Why do you think that is?
Man, I can't say I don't know because I do. It's about the lack of representation, honestly. Growing up, the Black journalists that I saw had straight hair, or they wore wigs, or they wore weaves, whatever the case may be.
Right.
At the time, I wasn't wearing wigs. I like to wear my box braids all the way down to my cheeks. I used to like to do that, and you didn't see that on the news. And it's funny because I was just watching a news segment maybe a couple of days ago, and I remember seeing the young lady and her hair being out. It was beautiful, natural, and I was like, dang. So you mean to tell me if I had just stuck it out, I could have been that?
Yeah.
But I was like, it's cool. But it's really because of a lack of representation, because you really don't see us in those spaces,
Right. Especially at our natural self. Like I almost thought like the position that I applied for within the company, I had probably applied. I think I told the story before, but I applied like 7 times before I actually got it. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And that was just me based off, wanting to get out of, retail, especially, after the pandemic. Like retail got crazy, people coming in, attitudes. And I was just kind of fed up. I was like, I don't want to deal with that type of negativity every day, because I love people. Like I would have stayed in the retail setting, but people were just changing in front of us. So I was like, what can I do? And it was like business, right? So get in B2B. But you don't see a lot of people come from the retail. I mean, the position that I was at, you don't see a lot of people going from that to where I'm at now. So for one, I had that against me. Number two, they, they told me in the interview, like experience, right? And then, but after you go through like 5, 6 interviews, it's like, okay, what is it? And then nobody can tell you. Nobody can tell you. You get the generic. Oh, we loved your energy. You did great. Like we just want somebody with more experience.
No, you did. Right. No, you did. I don't believe you,
bro. Like, so I was just like, what is going on? And then I was just starting to grow dreads at the time, so I'm like, that gotta be it. Like the dreads, I'm feeling subconscious, like, I ain't got the clean cut no more. So I'm just like, but I ended up getting it. But it's crazy. A black supervisor hired me. Everybody else passed me up though.
Well, let me ask. I was about to ask you that. Do you think that's because it was a black supervisor that you were hired?
Exactly. That's I really believe, like, if it wasn't for the sister, like, I probably still would have been, trying to.
You know what's funny? I actually was. Well, no. The black lady was an HR. I was about to say I was actually hired by Verizon. I love Verizon. Don't play.
Great people.
I was actually hired by a black one, but I wasn't. I was hired by a white man, but it was a black HR that kind of pushed, and she was a soror. Shout out to Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. That pushed me in the door. So yeah, It is what it is. When you have us on the other side, they're going to all, well, I'm not going to say they always, but for the most part, they're going to look out for you. They're going to make sure that you're taken care of. They're going to make sure that your voice is heard.
But doesn't that suck though? Like you should be able to have to get a job just off your qualifications alone, or instead of them trying to hit a tick mark. Oh, we got our black people, so we good. You know what I mean? Like, but it is what it is, right? So we journalism obviously didn't necessarily pan out for you, but we'll get into that later. I do want to talk about how did you go about choosing College of Charleston? Obviously you 45 minutes from Charleston, so I can see native close by. But did you have any other schools that you were looking at, anything like that? Like,
yeah, definitely. College of Charleston was my choice because, like you said, it was close to home. I wanted to be far away from home, but close enough to where I can still see my parents if I wanted to see them or if they wanted to come see me. And one of the biggest benefits that I had going right downtown was my mom and dad would always bring me something to eat. Oh gosh, when the calf wasn't hitting, when it just wasn't, I didn't have no money, my mom and daddy would bring me something to eat. So that worked out in my favor. College of Charleston and USC, which is the University of South Carolina, those were my top two schools. The reason that I did University of South Carolina, and I actually was my number one school until I graduated from high school. The reason I did not go is because the day that we had our college tour, it rained. And we were on a tour bus, kind of like the, kind of the tour bus, or you know what I'm talking about.
I've been there.
We were on that bus, and we would have needed to walk from point A all the way to point B. And point B was far. So I was like, if I got to do this on a day-to-day basis, I'm not going to make it. So that kind of turned me off. And I really do believe in signs. I believe that everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
So I believe that day it rained because I wasn't supposed to be there. It wasn't in my nature. I mean, it wasn't in my destiny. Now, I did end up going back for my paralegal certification, but I wasn't meant to be there for undergrad. So, and actually, funny enough, I considered transferring to USC after my freshman year of college because I couldn't find my place in CFC yet.
Yeah.
It was a little bit of us and a whole lot of them. And I was trying to find my niche, but me and my roommate, shout out to Kyra, shout out to Pay, they was like, let's stick it out. We're going to try, we're going to see what we can make shake. And yeah, made it through.
Man, that's dope, man. So, I mean, what would you say would be one of your top experiences at College of Charleston? And then also, do you ever feel like you should have maybe chosen like an HBCU or anything like that? Like, do you ever have any type of those type of regrets? Because I know I do. But it's only because of the type of school that I went to. And so, for one, tell me your top experience while you were there. And then number two, do you ever have that regret that, maybe I should have went to an HBCU?
Yeah. So number one, my top experience was definitely joining my sorority.
Okay.
Because that created lifelong friends for me. And that really opened doors to other opportunities. I was able to get this internship with a marketing firm when I was in college. Now, right now, I'm marketing for my business, but at the time, I never realized how significant it would be. So I would definitely say that was the top thing because I still talk to those girls today. And then, do I ever regret or ever consider going to HBCU? Yes. And I always said if I was to go back to college, I would go to an HBCU. And that's just so I can experience something different. Black CFC is what we like to call it. We made it what it was. So I still felt like I had an experience of my identity being Black at a PWI. But I do feel like I would have had a lot more doors open. I do feel like I would have kind of been pushed in some doors. I do feel like I would have gotten more experience or even know a lot of lingo. I remember graduating and talking to my friends that actually did go to HBCUs, and I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I've never in my life heard of that. Like, fried chicken, that wasn't a thing.
I'm whitewashed. Sorry.
I don't understand what you're talking about. Can you further elaborate to me? But I don't necessarily regret it, but I definitely feel like if I was to go back to college, HBCU would definitely be my top contender.
Man, that's what's up. That's what's up. I have a lot of HBCU students that I sat down with, and like I always say, the pride that they have, the experiences that they talk about. It was like, if I could redo it, I would. That's the type of vibe I would be in. Now, I will say, would I be? Everything happens for a reason. So, would I be the person that I am today if I would have went? Maybe so. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what if I would have been able to handle myself. Like, would I gotten into too much trouble? Would I? You know what I'm saying? So it's just like I respect and I love the journey that I went across. The only thing is if I could try to get that experience, I would definitely want to get that experience. So that's the only thing I would say, which is dope. Cool. So obviously we went to college. Did we have a job right after college? I'm not sure. Did you mention that? Like,
what was I thinking? Oh yes. So after college, I was still working at Verizon. So I actually got my job at Verizon while I was at college because supervisor came to a college fair, a job fair at the college. So I was working at Verizon, and I started working at Verizon and the law firm together. So I had two jobs. I was two jobs shorty for a while.
That's what's up.
Up until the Verizon Charleston closed in Charleston, South Carolina. It closed down in 2019. And I felt like that was my sign. Again, I believe in signs. Mm-hmm. I felt like that was my sign to jump, to take a leap of faith and actually leave the state. I always wanted to live in Charlotte, North Carolina. So at that time, I figured that was the best opportunity to do so. So as soon as Verizon closed down, I hitchhiked. Well, not hitchhiked, of course. But I skipped right up to Charlotte. Yeah. And I loved it there. And I stayed there for a good 2-3 years before I transitioned back here, which is not permanent down here. But I definitely plan on going back to Charlotte. And Charlotte was when the pandemic hit. So I really couldn't move back.
Had two jobs coming out of college, right? That's really good. I talk to some people that they struggle with trying to find a job right after college. So that's a weird point in their life, a weird time. Along your journey, as far as working for Verizon, then obviously working for the law firm, were there any hiccups, any type of hard time? Was there any time where you might have felt like, I just want to quit? You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
When did that, what are some of those situations that made you feel that way? And then how did you overcome those? Because I don't want people to sit on here and think that everything's a breeze, having a plan, mapping it out. Like, you're going to be throwing some curveballs. You're going to throw some wrenches. And, it's really about just keeping you aware that they coming. And as long as you're aware that they coming, you can kind of navigate in it, and it won't hit you as hard, right? And so what are some of those situations for you, during your journey that popped up?
Definitely had some hiccups. I would say the biggest thing is that I did quit. I did quit my job. So when I left here and went to Charlotte, I got a job working as a Social Security case manager at another law firm. Mm-hmm. And I loved that for a bit. But then I kind of felt like, not necessarily that it was me against the other staff, but it was more so of the attorney at the time. She was not us. Let's say that. I don't feel like she had our best interest at heart. And I honestly didn't like the way that she was treating my coworker, because I'm the type of person, I am a perfectionist. I do like things to be perfect and my T's crossed and my I's dotted. I do like that. But I don't feel the need to put myself up against anybody else. I don't want to ever be compared to anybody else. I don't want anybody to ever look at me and say, oh, you see what she's doing? You need to do like her. I hate that because that's automatically going to give that person up to hate me or to dislike me or to feel like, oh, well, dang, I can't even stand beside her. And that wasn't her case. Me and her were actually friends. We were cool. But the attorney, I don't feel like she liked that. Yeah. And during that time, I started trading. I was with that organization. And I was getting pretty up there when it comes to being a leader in that organization. Yep. So I up and quit. I left the job. It's funny because I literally sent my resignation letter the day that I quit. I remember sitting in my bed crying after I sent that letter. I said, listen, effective today, I'm no longer working here. They immediately shut off my internet. Ooh. They immediately shut off my access. Nothing. So during that time, I started back trading, blah, blah, blah. It was going great.
Yeah.
Until it wasn't.
Right.
Until it wasn't, because I was putting so much into my team, into my team members, into the people that I was being a leader for, that I wasn't pouring into myself.
Got it.
So it really hit some hard times for me. It really did. And a lot of people don't know that. And they're going to know that now because they watch this podcast.
For sure.
But I really was struggling. Like, I never put out a front to say, like, oh my gosh, I'm doing so great. Or I never told anybody that, oh my gosh, I'm terrible. Like, I'm down bad.
Right.
I never wanted to put that front because, again, I have a team that's looking at me. If they see me,
you can't be weak.
You can't be weak.
You can't be.
You don't have the opportunity to struggle in spaces like that.
Yeah.
So it was times where I was like, I don't know if I can go on. And then what really put the icing on the cake is I got COVID. I got COVID in 2020. And it was more mental than, I'll tell you that. If anybody says about COVID is, it is very difficult to get through. I was living by myself at the time. And I was just like, if I die right here, right now, who's going to come get me? How is anybody going to come and see me? How is my mom and dad going to be able to get in this house, to get in this apartment and get my lifeless body because I don't know how I can go on? Ooh. And that was just because I was sick. Yeah. I mean, that was dramatic, probably, but that was the thought process.
Not at that climate when we know people was dying from it. So I mean,
people were dying. I don't think people really understood. Like, if you got COVID, you were really in the mindset of people
I could
dying.
Go, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I can die right now. And my thought process was, I live alone. If I die, there's nobody else that has the key to this apartment. How long is it going to take for them to come find me? Right. How long is it going to take for them to come looking for me? You know? So I was down bad, man. I was sad. I was hurt. After I got off from COVID, after I got better, things started to look back up. But my organization had fell because I had kind of let myself down. So right. I wasn't, again, pouring into them. So, of course, they kind of just go away. Yeah. So that's when I realized, listen, either you're going to get up and do something about it or you're going to just sit here and wallow in your own filth. And I decided to get up and do something about it. I went back to what I knew best, which was the law field. Then I took off with that and started my own business, being a mobile notary. Yep. Started to do that, and everything else has been looking up ever since. So it's going to be times that you feel like you want to quit. It's going to be times where you feel like I cannot go any further. Mm-hmm. But you got to, again, choose happiness. You got to pick yourself up and go on about your business and do what you were called here to do.
Man, you hit on some gems. Like, it's easier said than done, of course. But we all have that ability to be able to overcome it. Like, I don't care who you are, what you look like, what color you are. Everyone has the ability to, be in a sunken place, hit rock bottom, and climb back up. You know what I'm saying? That's the American way. To be honest, like for us, that's all we know. You know what I'm saying? Like being
struggle life. You know what I'm
saying? Being stripped from your home and really having to create your own culture again, and then fight battles to get in places that you not even accepted in, and just fighting for basic human rights. You know what I mean? Like we are accustomed to that lifestyle, and I know that we can do it. No matter who you are. But I do believe you speak on something pretty heavy as far as like not wanting to put that image of like, oh, I'm doing this or I'm doing bad right now. I think you probably did the best thing, you know what I'm saying? Like having that balance, because, you if you would have been like, oh, I'm doing so great, which, in the organization, you can see that, you can see people floss and stunt, and everybody's just waiting on the fall. And then once the fall comes, now they put you 6 feet under, you know what I mean? They on your neck. So it's like, once you fall, you can't come back. And then that's more additive pressure on yourself. And then you also don't want to, show the lows, because then it could scare people from really even taking a chance. And I think most people don't realize, like, my journey is not yours. You know what I mean? Right. Like, you can't judge your success based off me. Just because I didn't make it pop doesn't mean you can't make it pop. You know what I mean? So it's almost like if you were to, everybody that started a business, like there's so many fast food restaurants. Just, you may not be McDonald's, but that doesn't mean there's not a space for you to, find your success. You know what I mean? Like, there's a niche for you. And And so I get it. I totally get it. I understand because I've been to the place where the team is doing great. You got people going in, everybody's feeling good. Da 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 da. A bad week happened. All momentum is this is it. You know what I mean? And then it's just like it's gone. So it's just like,
oh God.
Listen, I understand, and I really think being in situations like that teach you. I think it just teaches you ownership. Like you started to own your own business. Let's just say you take it and start to get employees or whatever the case may have you. You now have that experience of how to keep people engaged, keep people involved. And then I'm pretty sure there's probably things where you would probably want to duplicate yourself a lot quicker. So that way, if you had to step away, there's another somebody there that can say, they're the next Jazz. And they can keep the train going. Like those are the things you learn in situations like that. So, you may have not gotten to the BT spot. You know what I mean? But you learn how to in the next process or in the next vehicle to be able to do that and duplicate yourself. So I mean we here. You know what I'm saying? If ain't nobody else here, we here. So I get you. You know what I mean? I got you. All right, cool. Now talk to me about notary, right? So being a notary, what is that? Just give me some kindergarten knowledge. Like, just say I don't know anything. Explain to me what you do.
Yeah. So a notary, the actual terminology is, definition is a notary is an impartial witness, which really means, let's say that you're buying or selling a house. It doesn't matter which one you're doing. Mm-hmm. You're going to need a notary to sign off on those paperwork. And that's just saying that Armand is who he says he is. He's not trying to, this is true certified information that we're bringing forth, right? Mm-hmm. So that's really what a notary does. They really sign off on paperwork showing that this person is exactly who they say they are. And this document is as true as it's going to get. So that's what a notary is. Really sign paper, honestly. Like that's the basics of it. Like any paper that says Notary Public of South Carolina, I can sign on and I get paid for it. And it's a really great job, great business, because you really wouldn't think it would be something. Like I'm literally getting paid to watch somebody sign your name. It's your name. You show me your ID, you sign your, and then we go on about our day. It literally lasts no more than 5-10 minutes. At max, it might last an hour if it's like a loan signing that we have to do. So, but it's easy.
What's the process? Like, I mean, or like what? Like, what's the process of becoming a notary? And then why why do people choose you? Like, let me talk to Jazz, and I know, you know what I'm saying? Like, I guess I'm just trying to figure out like, how do you, because you are making this a business and it's taking off for you. Everything's starting to look upwards. But what sets you apart from any other person, you know what I'm saying, any other notary? So first, let me get, how did you, what's the qualifications of being a notary? And then number two, like, why do people come to you?
Yeah. So the first qualification is you have to get your commission in the state that you live in. So me, I live in South Carolina. Mm-hmm. So I had to get my commission from the Secretary of State. That varies in price depending on what state you are in. And that varies on the process. Some people have to take a test. All I had to do was apply. I applied. They sent me my commission, and boom, I'm a notary public. That's it. They don't give you any training. They don't do anything else. They just say, hey, you're a notary public. Boom. Gotcha. So as of last year, I started to look more into it. And you can actually take it a step further being a loan signing agent, which means that you can sign on pretty much any real estate transaction. So any refinances, any mortgages, any reverse mortgages, anything that you can think of dealing with real estate, a notary would be needed. So you would have a loan signing agent come in. They will go over the documents with you. You would sign it and you will go on about your day, either purchasing, selling that house, whatever the case may be. Now, why people choose me? It's because I'm dope. Honestly, I put my best face forward. I put my best foot forward at all times. I make sure that I get the job done right the first time. I'm the type of person that I'm very much a perfectionist. Okay. I overthink a lot when it comes to when I do stuff. It's funny because on the way coming here, on the way getting ready for this podcast, I was like, dang, was I supposed to wear a certain shirt for this podcast? I'm an overthink like that. So I'm a perfectionist. perfectionist when it comes to things. I like things to be done in a certain order, and that's the name of the game when it comes to notary. There are no room for mistakes. You have insurance in case you do make mistakes, but I don't have time to even pitch into that. Let's go ahead and get it right the first time. Let's go ahead and get this transaction done swiftly and accurately. That way you can be happy with whatever you have to do with the rest of your life. Let's get it over with. Let me just do what I need to do. Let's make you happy. So that's why people pick me, because I'm dope. Honestly, I really don't have nothing else to say about it.
That's dope. So obviously, for anybody watching, if you ever wanted to get into the game of being a notary, I don't know, a notary, right? So notary, being a perfectionist helps. Being somebody that's on top of your P's and Q's helps, because of you never want to have to go back and honestly, it hurts to admit that you made the mistake. For one, and then it's people like, if you're buying and selling homes, like usually this is on a time crunch. Buying a home is super important, so you never want to have to, closing date might have been here, but now it's pushed back due to a mistake that you might have made, right? And so I do, want people to understand, like, if you get into this business, listen to what she's saying, and if you don't fit if you're not a let me check everything all type of person, like perfectionist. Maybe notary is not for you. I mean, it sounds easy, right? Sign a little paper.
You're absolutely right. It does sound easy. And the logistics of it is easy, but you do have to have an attention to detail. If you're sloppy, if you want to just do things willy-nilly, then it's probably not going to work out in your favor.
I like it. And so how do you gain, obviously we know you dope, but how do you gain business? Like, are you talking to home, I don't know, who are you talking to? Are you listed as somebody that, all right, I'm working with this housing development company, like they know, like if people need a notary to call you, you know what I'm saying? Do you do business like that, or is it just like friends and family, they know you do, you're a notary, and they come to you and say, hey, I need you to sign this document? Like, how are you gaining business and gaining traction?
Yeah, it's funny because I do all of those things that you just said. So I'm actually contracted through 2 or 3 companies right now. I think it's actually 3 that I just started with. I'm contracted through those companies, and what they'll do is they'll reach out to me and say, hey, we have a signing in such and such area. This is the price that we're willing to pay. Can you do it? Yes or no? I'll either say yes or no. If I say yes, then I'll travel out to that area in order to get it taken care of. Then, of course, you also have word of mouth, right? Word of mouth is almost one of the best ways to get things out there.
Okay.
Because people are actually speaking from experience. They've dealt with me before. They know me personally. They know how I get things done.
Right.
So I'll oftentimes have friends recommend other people to me and say, hey, this person needs a notary. Can you go ahead and take care of them for me? Let them know that I sent you, blah, 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 blah. So family and friends, of course, also help. And then also I have the term in notary world is when you go direct. So that's when you directly work with the company. So that's when I'm actually reaching out to mortgage officer. That's when I'm actually reaching out to realtors. That's when I'm actually reaching out to title companies in order to work with them. Okay. And that could be anywhere in the state of South Carolina. As long as they're within this state, I can work with them to get things done. So I do all 3. I do word of mouth, I do contracted, and then I also market myself.
Perfect. And then if you don't mind, hopefully it's not too personal, but if somebody was to ask you, hey, we need you, what does the range is? Like, what's the range from, like, oh, this is the low end, this is the high end of what somebody can pay you?
So it depends. For I-9 forms, I usually start at $20. Because that's literally me saying that, hey, you are eligible to work in the United States. It's really easy peasy. Okay. Now, if I have to travel to you, it's going to be more. I'm going to just let you know that. It's going to be a little bit more. The range for notary is anywhere between $50 to $200 when it comes to signing documents, like loan signing documents. But when it comes to like regular notary work, like affidavits, if you ever have to do an affidavit, or if you have to sign off on a will, then that usually ranges between $5 to $10. And it's really like $5 per stamp. Gotcha. So if you have one page that only needs one stamp, that's $5.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. And then I know you got the business, right? So we got Notable LLC. And with that being said, like, are you trying to? I'm not sure. Are you doing the business, your entrepreneurship full time, or are you still working with the law firm at the same time? Like, and then is your goal to do Notable LLC just full time? Like, is that a goal? Is that the dream?
Yeah. So right now I am currently working at the law firm and I do my business.
Okay.
And thankfully, shout out to my law firm. They are such a blessing. They work with my schedule anytime it comes to me doing a signing because at the end of the day, I can make more in that one signing than I do in a day. So they work with me. But eventually, do I want to take on Notable LLC full time? Yes, just simply because it would give me more opportunities as far as networking, meeting new people, as far as making more money. I'm gonna be honest with you. And then just having my own time, being able to move when I feel like moving, being able to know, okay, bet I got a sign that I have to do at 10, another one at 12, and I'm done by 3 o'clock. I feel that that's true freedom when it comes to life. Right now I'm still kind of punching the clock. I'm still meeting somebody else's time expectations, which is great. Don't get me wrong, but I would much rather have the freedom to come and go as I please.
Yeah.
So, do I want to take on Notable LLC full time? Eventually, yes. Am I at the place to do that as of right now? Absolutely not.
Okay, makes sense. We appreciate that, and I appreciate you telling us like the ranges of which things come from, because I think that's something that I don't want. I feel like full transparency is key, right? So I feel like that's one thing that LinkedIn does terribly, or corporations do terribly. Like, you got the description, but how much we getting paid? Like, why even put me through this interview if you know I'm gonna reject this offer? Like, you're not meeting my qualifications. You know what I mean? Like,
you got qualification, but are you meeting mine?
Right? Yeah, you know what I mean. Like, are you meeting mine? And so it's the full transparent. Like, if I think everybody would love just more transparency. Obviously, more people, if you see the price range, more people would go after the higher paying jobs. But then that's where, you hire people to cipher out, good candidates and bad candidates. So, that's people's job to literally do that. So somebody that's, know they, I guess experience wise, they're not at the 6-figure mark.
Right.
Like, okay, listen, you missing a few steps, so you're not a good qualification. But people should just be able to know. And I appreciate you being honest with us and letting us know. So, believe it or not, Jazz, we are coming up on an hour, and it's been so fun. It's been a great conversation. One of my last questions is just, what's the ultimate lifestyle? Like, what's the ultimate dream for you? Like, I just always ask because it's different from everybody. So I just want to know, like, what's the ultimate lifestyle? What do you see yourself in, like, 5 to 10 years? Like, where you want to be?
Yeah. So in the next 5 to 10 years, I want to own a barndemonium. I don't know if you ever heard of that.
No. What is that?
Yeah. Google it after this. A barndemonium it looks like a barn, but it's a house. It's beautiful.
Okay.
I love it. I own a barndemonium. I want to purchase some land in the countryside. I want to have my husband and maybe a child. Who knows? I don't know.
Everybody get iffy with the kids.
I don't know about the kids yet, but I want to be living on the countryside, kick back. I want my parents to be completely retired. I want them to be able to travel with me. I want to be able to do the things that I was put on this earth to do. And I believe that God put everybody on this earth to enjoy the fruits of his labor. So that means to enjoy his beaches. That means to enjoy his mountains. That means to enjoy these trains, these planes, everything that he put in place for us to have. I believe that we're supposed to enjoy those things, indulge in those things. Yeah. So that's where I see myself in the next 5 to 10 years. Completely retired. Either I'm doing Notable LLC full time, or by that time I'm teaching courses to where the money is making itself. Yeah. I don't have to actively go out and make the money. It's just accumulating in my bank account for me, So that's honestly where I see myself in the next 5 to 10 years. More than anything, I truly just want to be happy. I want to be in a place to where there are no regrets on my life. Everything that I did it with purpose. I did it on purpose, and I did it with pride, and I did it with the goal to get to where I needed to be. So
listen, It's out there in the atmosphere. So listen, on this day, whenever this episode drops, people are gonna watch. And then it's just something that you can come back to at the end of this episode and be like, I said that, I did that. You know what I'm saying? if nobody believed in you, guess who believed in you? God did. That's what DJ Khaled said.
Come on.
So you got it. So you got it. But we wishing nothing but success for you. I appreciate you for taking the time to even sit and bless the screen with us. It's been amazing. I learned a lot just about being a notary. Is it like notary? But is it? Yeah. But what's the word for you specific? Is that the word
notary? Yep.
Notary. Okay, got it. So notary. Yeah. So we appreciate
notary public, notary, loan signing agent, NSA, LSA. Okay. It's a lot of different. So whatever you feel like saying at the time, but the bottom line is a notary. Yep. Okay,
got it. Well, we appreciate you for letting us in on that. And then also giving us just some of those life lessons that you learned along the way, the journey, some of the hiccups, and ways that you were overcome. And we'll always remember to choose happiness at the end of the day. If you don't learn anything else from this episode, remember to always choose happiness. Jazz, the only thing I have to ask for you now is just 2 recommendations, or just, any recommendations for someone that I should sit down with next. Someone that you feel fits the mold of the podcast, somebody that you think is super dope. I just need a couple, give me as many as you want, but 1 to 2 will work.
Yeah. So the first one that comes to mind is my friend Kashay Stewart.
Okay.
She's a celebrity hairstylist out of Atlanta. She's been doing hair, I believe, for the last 10 years, if I'm not mistaken. She's dope. A very bubbly personality. Will literally talk to you about any and everything. She's originally from Baltimore, Maryland, so you already know how she coming.
Yeah.
But that's the first person I would recommend. The second person that I would recommend is my LS, my sorority sister. Her name is Nia Lewis. She is on Instagram. I believe her name is the Solopreneur.
Okay.
She actually started as a hairstylist as well, but she started developing courses. She actually is professor at the College of Charleston. She's doing a lot of great things. And I always feel like when it comes to spaces that she's one person that people need to hear,
Yeah.
So those are the 2 people I would say, Kashay Stewart and Nia Lewis.
No doubt. So what I'll ask is if you could just send me their information as far as like if they like to be contacted through Instagram, email, telephone, just send me the information, and then you just let them know like, hey, this guy's gonna be reaching out about the podcast. If you want to do it, you just say yes, no big deal if they say no, but we appreciate those recommendations. Do you know Hannah Robinson?
Yes, that's my LS.
Okay, perfect. We went to church together. So we grew up together. She's been on the podcast too. So she was like one of the first maybe 10 people that I actually like sat down with. And when you said you was an AKA and then you went to College of Charleston, I was just trying to put, and we're close in age and everything. So I was just trying to put it together. But yeah, that's my girl, man. We went to went to church together.
Freaking world.
So yeah. So if you talk to her, just be like, hey, I saw your boy, or sat down with your boy Armand. Well, she probably know me as Rashid, but from church. So just let her know you was on Big Boss Talk. And let her know I said what's up. But I just had to ask because everything kind of lined up. So that's what's up.
Wow. Okay. So you're from Rock Hill?
Oh yeah, from Rock Hill, South Carolina.
I don't know if you're gonna know. Why does Black people do that? Why all of a sudden I know where you from? Now I feel like you know everybody from Rock Hill.
Because we probably do.
My Neo, Lauren Reese, is from Rock Hill as well.
Lauren Reese. I had to see a face.
She has locks too. She's the reason. Well, not the reason, but she was the influence behind locks because I went to her person. Wow, it's a small world. Okay.
Small world, man. It's crazy. Well, I'm gonna let you have the rest of your night back. I know it's getting a little late. But again, I say thank you. And then when the episode drops, I'll let you know. You'll see me tagging you and all that good stuff. So I can't wait for it to drop. It's going to be great. And thank you again.
Yes, of course. Thank you so much. I apologize about the technical difficulties, but we got through it. It was beautiful. I really enjoyed myself.
All right. Thank you so much. You have a good one, okay?
You too now. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.